You know what? I'm going to do this in regular alphabetical order, and I'm going to throw this giant paragraph at Alex.
Sure thing. All right. Halo Kagwa Copa Conaway Kach Billy Ich man slaska Chaco Kagwa Sachali Dam Dam Copa slaska Kamtax Bihalo slaska Mamu Help Copa slaska Tilaka slaska Wawa Ik de Maika Pay Copa Nika Pinaika Mamuk School Copa Maika Sachali Tai Yaka Sik Dam Dam Copa Kakwa Tilaka Sachali Tai Wuch Stick Dam Dam or Sick Dam Dam Copa Gone Away Slaxka Lazy Slaxka Lazy Copa Chinook Pepa Flu Shalo Masaika Lazy Copa Copa Wake Gonsich Masaika Sick Dam Dam Alski Copa Copa Chinook Pepa Pus Masaika Chaco Lit Comtax.
Okay, you glossed right over a couple things that I had neglected. I'll try to fix those right now. I should have spelled out Sachalitai. I had left it abbreviated as it was in the Chinook Pipa. There's a number of common abbreviations in the BC alphabet. One of them is for God, one is for Jesus, and then a whole bunch of them for the names of native villages. That could be a whole lesson by itself. And then there's also that et cetera that we've seen. That's another abbreviation in the shorthand. Okay, yeah, so we're talking, we had left off, last time with a discussion about people who are and are not helpful, about getting their neighbors literate in Chinook Pepa in BC. And so that's what this paragraph is about as well.
All right, so so it's not like that everywhere. Each man becomes arrogant about like that about what they know, like about that they know this about this. So how them go classic content about this, because of this they know, and they don't help other people. They say what are you going to pay me? And and then I will like school, like teach you. God, he's sad about people like this. God also is sad about all the lazy people, all the people who are lazy about Chinook Pepa writing. Don't be lazy. Don't you all be lazy about this. Wait, never be sad. Never be sad.
Here's a comma to help you. Maybe.
Yeah. Chinook paper is a little weird. Like, eventually about this Chinook paper, since you will truly learn it, or eventually you'll truly learn it, I guess.
You heard the silent.
Yeah.
That's great. There's a silent it here. I agree with you. Yeah, I'll go over that as well. Let's see. Halo kakwa kopa kanwe kach ilahi. Ich dicht man klaska chaku kakwa sachli gamdam kopa oko klaska gamdax. Behelo klaska mamuk help kopa klaska delegam. Klaska wawa ik de maika pee kopa naika. Binaika mamuk school kopa maika. Sachli dai yaka sik tumdum kopa kakwa delegam. Sachli dai wacht sik tumdum kopa kanwe klaksta lazy kopa chinook bepa. Flush helo masaika lazy kopa okok. We kan zich masaika sik tumdum ashte kopa okok chinook bepa. Pus masaika chagwit lake gumducks. So not thus, not like that in everywhere place. This again is a lovely BC expression. It's real common. Kanui kachelahi is like all over the place in the English that I speak. So it's not like that in every place. Ich dicht man, and that ich dicht is kind of distributive. Ich dicht, one. So it's sort of like, you know, people here and there. And notice the man is plural, by the way, which it can be in jargon. So people here and there, they become as if high-minded. They become like arrogant about this that they know. This is like a relative clause to me here. They become conceited about this that they know, about what they know, and they don't, not they make help to their people. So they don't help their people. They say, quote, what will you pay to me? And meaning so that, you know, or, and then as a consequence, I make school, I teach you. I'll teach you if you pay me. God, Sachlitai, he is sick-hearted about such people. Sachlitai, God also is sick-hearted about Kanaway Tlaksta, every who. So that's everybody in regular old Chinagwawa. About everybody who is lazy, another relative clause. Okay, Kanaway Tlaksta, lazy, everyone who is lazy about Chinook writing. Good here at the beginning of a sentence, as usual, it's like an imperative, it's a command thing, you know, so well, it's negated here, so it's don't. Tlush halo is don't. So don't you folks be lazy about this. Wake kansich, not to dwell on that too much, but that does mean never, you know, Alex nailed that. It's kind of funny if you look at it literally, right? Wake is a, you know, negative. Do you know kansich, you guys, if you used it by itself?
How many?
How many?
Count or how many. So it's funny, not how many or not count is never. Anyway, never you folks be sick-hearted. So you will never be sad, Ashki, in the future, about this Chinook writing if you folks come to really know it. If you folks really learn it with the silent it. Hardest word in Chinookwawah, the silent it. It's a real thing. And sounds like Alex fluently speaks that part of the grammar. Okay, thanks for taking on that big paragraph there. And if I continue in the order that I have written here, Gabriele, would you like to do this?
Just
right.
First, Dave, could I ask a couple of questions? Yeah, the very first clause there, Halo kakwa kopa kanawe kach ilahi. Why wouldn't we have ok in there?
Where in
after
that
the
sequence?
kakwa? Not
Halo
like
kakwa
that.
okok?
Shouldn't there like you said,
I see.
not like that everywhere?
Well, yeah, and that's a great question. You know, we're always telling, you know, reminding each other that kakwa means to be like that. Okay, and so you're wondering, where is the that? Where is this that?
Oh, so that is in the kakwa.
But yeah, because if we think of it in terms of like all the ways you can translate kakwa, you know, just the ways that are similar to like that. Well, it's like this. It's be thus, be so. Okay.
Okay. No, that
And
okay.
so it's a single word. Yeah, that's really kind of the, you know, the key mental trick there is
okay.
kind of get yourself to consider kakwa to include
Gotcha.
what
Okay.
is, you know, several words for us in English. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. And then the second thing is just that halo.
Halo.
Yeah. If that is don't, should we be hyphenating it?
I don't think so.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't think so. Now there is an alternative way to say this. What you can do is, depending on the dialect of jargon that you're speaking, let me see. Well, this is a real thing in BC jargon, right? You can say wiklush, which means not good that you folks be lazy about this. That can be a negative command form. And you could go a little farther afield by saying halo thush masaika lacy okok. And that would be less of a command, though. That would be more like observing a fact that it's not good that you folks are lazy.
Thank you.
So yeah, hope some of that helps. And of course, all questions that you guys ask become sort of footnotes.
Yeah, in the line just above that, Dave, you know, at first I thought it said Kanawi Hlaska, but it's a Kanawi Hlaksta.
Yeah, all who.
Would there be a form to say all of those who, all they?
Yeah.
Is Kanawi Hlaksta? Yeah,
I see your question. Kind of a key element when it comes to BC jargon, as I have documented its use, is that folks really confused Hlaksta, meaning who, and Hlaska, meaning they. So there's just a lot of variation between, call them two different pronunciations, you know, Kanawe Hlaksta and Kanawe Hlaska, both meaning, though, in effect, everybody. But there is no special expression for, you know, for Kanawe Hlaska, all of them. You know what I mean? It's not like a set phrase. It's not idiomatic. You could just as easily say Kanawe Nasaika, right? All of us. Kanawe Masaika, all of you folks, and so forth.
Kanawe Tilicum.
Exactly, and other nouns besides pronouns. You could do nouns. Kanawe Tilicum, you know, Kanawe Sawash, all of the Indians.
But it looks
so
good with Hlaksta.
But this here, you know, I kind of spell this with a dash mark inside of Kanawe Hlaksta, because it does have kind of a different meaning, right? That's the rule that I try to stay with. for using dashes here. It has a special meaning that's different from just putting together Conaway and Llagsta. You know, by themselves, Conaway and Llagsta is, of course, all who. I should here give you the warning. You know, I told you this is a relative clause, right? Everybody who is lazy. But the who, the Llagsta here is not that who in the English translation. You know, there is no relative pronoun, you know, which I'm looking at the screen here, you know, German has a relative pronoun. Italian has a relative pronoun. You know, what is it? Ver or something? Qui? Estonian
well,
probably has.
Think about it.
Chinukwawa does not have a relative.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So just to say, this Llagsta is not a relative pronoun who, okay? If it were, then we would have no dash here. You know, it'd be God is also upset about all who are lazy. Well, that's not what is happening here. There just is no relative pronoun in this language. And so instead I'm showing you, you know, the Conaway Llagsta go together just to mean everybody. And instead of a relative pronoun, Chinukwawa has nothing, right? And so you just say, you know, everyone lazy, which means everyone who is lazy.
I noticed there was somebody speaking English. I would just make comment. And this was back at work. You know, I was watching a recording of somebody speaking to a customer in pretty broken English, and what they wanted to say was, could you move to a space that has more light, or that is in better light? It had to do with a camera setting. And they said in broken English, can you go to place have more light?
Oh my gosh. That's very similar to Chinukwawa. And it's very similar to several thousand languages in the world. It's a pretty common strategy, because usually in actual communication between two people, you can tell which clauses are kind of the backgrounded things, the relatives, you know, that are just being used to describe the main focus of action.
In certain circumstances, though, Dave, doesn't Yaka and Slaska kind of ends up being a relative pronoun? Like if you're gonna say something like Nagananich man Okokman Yaka Mislite Kopa house or something, right? I see the guy who's in the house.
It can feel like that to us. I recognize what you're describing.
Yeah.
But I have come to feel that the yaka there, you know, the so-called resumptive pronoun in this language, is doing something more like showing the definite reference. It's like, you know, the man who, because I've noticed you can leave out the yaka, right? And then it would be like a man who is such and such, you know.
Okay.
If I look out my window right here that you can't see, and I say, oh, Nagananich, you know, man, Cooley, ayak.
But then, so
You
that
guys
then
would
be,
know. Oh, I see a man, you know, some guy who I don't know. But if I say, Nagananich, man, yaka, Cooley, ayak, you guys would know I'm like saying the man. It's funny, there's no word for the in jargon, but there are various strategies, workarounds, where you can express the definiteness of something. So yeah, that yaka or llagsta, or resumptive pronouns, turn out to mostly kind of be carrying that function there, instead of being relative pronouns.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah, sure. And we, sorry, Gabriele, that was a diversion. We should let you have the stage.
All right. So, next moon, Saika Mamakuli Kapa Kamloops Wawa, Kukwawa Kara Shiks Cry, Chakot Kopa Kukilahi. Kanawe Mamuk. Kanawe Ikta Yaka Wawa plus Yaka Mitlet Kopa Ukuk Lahi Ukuk Saika Tiki Wawa Kopam Saika Wawa Kopam Saika Kanawe Tilakam plus Elu Mitlet Tlaskanin Kopa Kamloops Name plus Tlaska Tlap Kop Ukuk Paper.
Whew. Your connection sped up and slowed down during that.
But eventually,
Yeah.
all the words.
But
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
and do you want to do the translation of that?
Yeah, no problem. So next moon, of course, is next month. And Saika Mamakuli Kopa Camel's Flower. So Kuli is run, of course, and Mamuk is to do. So I guess it's like to publish.
Yes.
Oh, very nice.
Okay, so next month we'll publish on the Camel's Flower the story of how Jesus Christ was born, maybe.
Yes.
Took the form of a baby, of course, on the earth, and everything that he did. Everything that he said when he was on earth. This is what we like to tell you.
Yeah, if I may suggest here, Gabriel, there's
I'm not sure what Lezevek means.
Dave should just take this one. I've got to say though, you blew me away with Mamuk Cooley for publish. Well done, well done. But I think Dave, you can take this over.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, no problem.
That's fine with me, sure. Yeah, your connection is kind of variable speed right now, so it's difficult to hear all of what you're saying. Okay, next month we will make run. So actually we have this in English, I suppose, right? We will run in the Kamloops Wawa, that story about Jesus Christ.
I was just about to ask you, did they say that in 1890, that time?
Well, you've got it right in front of you. So yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if it's English influence or something else. I can remind you that in Kamloops, you know, the Chinookwawa of this area, Kuli also meant, you know, to recite a prayer or to read something aloud.
Good.
And so to make something recited, I suppose, you know, that might have been kind of the inspiration. But whatever it is, there you go. Yeah, about how Jesus Christ was born on this earth. Everything that he did, it's another relative clause, you see, everything that he did, everything that he said when he was here, when he existed on this earth, this we want to say to you folks. The bishop is the one. The bishop is that, or that one, who he made this Chinook story for you folks. fixing the spelling. All people who, now this is quite interesting. I should remove this from the document because this is a French accent right here. Once in a while, you do find slaksta, you know, the word for who, being used in a relative clause. It's always by white people who speak a European language, right? So I honestly, the way that I've been editing things to try to make the grammar consistent and just fluent jargon is that I should do this. That's been my policy. Remove the who. So just backing up then, all people, silent who want to receive this very good story and don't have their name among Kamloops Wawa people, command. So let them soon or quickly send their name so that they receive this newspaper. And so this is actually a relative construction as well, a relative clause, this long sentence. All the people who want to receive this very good story but don't have their name among the Kamloops Wawa people, let them quickly send their name so that they receive the papers. It's the let them part is referring to the people who do such and such. Okay. And there's just a little bit left here and we will be done. I'd be happy to get this.
Dave, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
I've heard that Tamola could be used as a next, and also Yayam wouldn't Yayam be a better word for story?
Yeah.
Well, Yaim for a story, you know, it is less known in BC, to be honest with you. We have to take into account, you know, how the language, the vocabulary in particular became smaller when the language was suddenly brought up to BC from the southern area, the lower Columbia region. And so Yaim and also Iganam, both of them for kinds of stories, they kind of dropped out of use for BC people.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, this is all a question of our audience and so forth. You know, if we're trying to demonstrate fluent BC usage as it was actually, as jargon was actually spoken, then, you know, the synonym Wawa, it really did also mean a story. That's definitely solid. And it's definitely something people would say.
In some of those recordings, or one of those recordings on your site, Sam, I'm sure you know because you transcribed it, but they say Stoli as well. Stoli.
Stoli, yeah, that's right.
Stoli, yeah, from English.
What about the Tamala, meaning next, like Tamala Sunday, you know, next week?
Yeah, I think that's not widespread. I haven't found it in, let's say, the Kamloops area, which is where, you know, we have the vast majority of known Chinakwawa usage.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
It's real. It's real. There's a related thing that I know Sam is aware of that some people could also say, you know, ich tamala, mox tamala, something like that, you know, for sort of one day in the future, 2 days in the future. One tomorrow, 2 tomorrows, those sorts of expressions. I don't think that was terribly common either, though. You know, it just doesn't turn up in the usage that we have. And as you can see, you know, Kamloops area and BC jargon in general has this very clear pattern. You know, it's not being bastardized by English. It's the language making really intelligent use of the resources in its environment. There's a lot of English spoken around jargon speakers, and so they very consistently picked up English words as a more specific way of saying that was more vague in the existing resources of Chinukwawa. So you could say like, ich moon chaco, ich moon ashke chaco or something, a month that is going to come. But it's easier and it's more clear to say next moon for next month. Similarly, you guys will, I guarantee you will see the word last is also used. Last moon, last Sunday. So you have next and last from English being kind of the common ways to talk in, by the 1890s in the BC context, the Northern dialect context.
Wonderful, thanks.
So yeah, sure, and that's definitely what I'm trying to do is show the best knowledge that we have about how folks spoke in BC, and we just have to understand it's a later dialect of Chinukwawa, and so some of the things that were quite common in earlier dialects, which are reflected in the more easily available publications out there, old dictionaries and so forth. Well, a lot of that stuff was obsolete by the time that jargon was common in BC. Lauren, would you like to take the last bit here?
Sure, let me unmute. Ilep hayu kopa seat 100 tilacum alta iscum oko paper. P hayu woot midlate tilacum tlaska comtux chinook paper. P halo tlap oko Kamloops wawa paper. As many as
800.
Yeah, as many as 800 people now get this paper. And I struggled with this part. Many more existing people, they understand Chinook writing and do not receive this Kamloops language paper.
Yeah. It would be equally well to punctuate like this with a comma here. It's kind of like two separate clauses, I suppose. And many more exist. Many more are there. Many more. There are many more who are. You could say this is a relative clause in that case, right? Who are people who they know Chinook writing and don't receive this Kamloops Wawa paper. And again, this tlaska, that is they, but it's the resumptive pronoun. It's not a relative pronoun. It's not saying who. This is the people, they know Chinook paper.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I had, but I guess I struggle with, how I would translate it into.
Yeah, and that's because of this here. Yeah, it's because of the Hayuwacht Mitleid, right? It's because we start out with, and there are many more existing. This is kind of the hard part here.
Yeah, I had, and many more existing people, they understand Chinook writing.
Yeah, and I would just, point out this is, the Mitleid is not being used descriptively, the way your English wording of it suggests. A complete synonym would be this word order. This is equally good. P Mitleid hayuwacht, right? And then I could get rid of that comma that I had been trying to clarify things with.
And there are many more people.
Hayuwacht telecom, yeah. That would be more clear, I think, to us. But it is acceptable, to have Hayawach Mitleid Delicum. A little bit unusual, but not terribly important where you throw in the Mitleid. In fact, the Mitleid might have been a bit of an afterthought, really. There are times when we can tell how these pages were written, you know, in sort of real time by Father Lejeune. We can sometimes see him thinking how to phrase a sentence, you know, or we can see him leaving out a word that he obviously intended in some cases. Anyway, this sentence it's acceptable, but it's a little tricky as it is, yes. And I'm kind of eager to stop the share on that. And if it's okay with you guys, start share on the document. Gosh, where is that?
I think I have it open on my computer. Bishop Grouard.
Bishop Grouard. There we go. I didn't have it open, so I couldn't share it. Okay, let me come back to that.
Just a quick question, Dave.
Yes.
The word bishop never made it into jargon then. It was always the French, l'évêque.
Oh no, we've seen bishop from English.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was in Kamloops Wawa documents, it typically is used as a title rather than a noun, you know, like you would talk about the bishop as l'évêque, and as well as using it as a title, you know, speaking of l'évêque Grouard. But also there was a tendency, again, reflecting local English usage that everyone was hearing around them, that they would say Bishop Grouard. Bishop as a title.
See.
Okay, yeah, Bishop Grouard, he was a bigwig in the Canadian Catholic Oblate community, and he came to visit the Kamloops area in the 1890s. And Norbert, would you like to do this highlighted paragraph?
Good. Naiga Klap Glade Hayu Mamuk Kopa Christmas Kakwa Wake Naiga Ayak Hayak Mamuk Tsam Ukok Paper Tunas Wake Hayak Kopo Kopa Masaiga Ukok.
Okay, and my apologies, friends. I was working on this under time pressure, and I left a couple of wakes in there by accident, whereas I have been trying hard to standardize things. Wake has much more restricted usage for most speakers of BC jargon. So halo would be more common for the use in a sentence.
Mm-hmm. Well, first I thought it meant I had a lot of work to do at Christmas, but Christmas has not yet happened. So I have much work on Christmas or for Christmas.
Oh, you were looking at the publication date? February?
February? Oh, good.
What he is saying is past tense indeed.
That's good.
He's saying why this paper is too late. It's delayed in coming out.
All right. So I had very much work at Christmas, for Christmas. And therefore, I could not quickly write or print this paper. And that's perhaps not maybe not, well, I may not, or it may not quickly get to you, that paper.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. You know, klop is like I wound up having, you know. Again, klop is things that are out of your control. And so I found, or I wound up having really a lot of work at Christmas. I mean, the guy is a priest, so it's, you know, peak season for his job. So not I quickly made written this paper, right? So I didn't or couldn't quickly write this newspaper. Perhaps not quickly arrive to you this. Okay, so that's the subject, you know, that's the it, meaning the paper. So perhaps it won't reach you folks soon. Perhaps it won't soon arrive to you folks, this thing. Okay. Let me scroll just a little here. Norbert, would you do this as well?
Copa December, is that 21, 21st? Kanawe Kamloops Telecom Michleit Kanamoxt Pus Mamut Hlush Kanawe Ikta Copa Christmas. On December 21st, all the Kamloops people they stay together, live together, in order to make good, you know, that's prepare, arrange everything for Christmas.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, excellent translation. Mamuk Hlush is like to fix up, literally to make good, but it's how you do. Fix up would be a wonderful general translation of Mamuk Hlush, because it can also mean to repair something. Yep, on December 21, all the Kamloops people were located, Mitleit, they were located together in order to prepare everything for Christmas. That's fairly straightforward, I think.
Dave, could
Yeah.
you give us a read through that?
Copa December 21, Kanui Kamloops Telecom Mitleit Kana Moxt Pus Mamuk Hlush Kanui Ekta Copa Christmas. And Rain, would you do this paragraph here?
Oh. Wait, Copa December 21. If highest Klush Lezavek, Yaka name Monsignor Grouard, Chaco Copa Kamloops, Yaka Ilip Klatawa Copa School, Ka Mithlite Alta 50 tennis telecom, 25 tennisman, P 25 tennis kluchman, Lesavek klush tumtum, pos Yaka Nanich Kata Klaska klush Mithlite Copa School, Kata klush Klaska Iktas, Kata Klaska Siahos Delate Klush P Delate Utul. Again on December 21st, one very fine bishop, his name Monsignor Grouard, comes to Kamloops. He first goes to school where there are now 50 children, 25 boys and 25 girls. Bishop very happy if he sees what they, Klush Midlight Copa School, if not too sure of Klush Midlight, not living
Doing
or
well.
Sorry?
Doing well. Doing
Oh,
well.
doing
Thriving.
well.
Yeah,
at
existing well.
Okay, at the school. And what good all their good things, Kata Klaska, how their faces are happy, and very proud.
Okay. Yeah, you got the gist of it there.
Okay.
I will read through this. Sorry, I forgot on a previous paragraph. Wacht kopet December 21, ich hayas slush lesevek yaka name Monsignor Grouard, Jaco kopa Kamloops. Yaka ile plat kopa school, kach misleit alta 50, or, Winum Bartolum Dennis Tillicum, 25 Dennis Mann, P 25 Dennis Sluchman. Lesevek Slush dum pusiaka nanich, kata tlaska Slush misleit kopa school. Kata tlush tlaska ektas, kata tlaska siachos tle tlush bitlek yutl. So also on December 21, a certain very good bishop whose name is Monsignor Grouard. I have that in pointy brackets, by the way, to show it was not written in Chinook paper. So I think a lot of the readers of Kamloops Wawa experienced this as his name was strange looking squiggles, in English or French. He came to Kamloops. He first went to the school where there are now 50 children, little people, 25 boys and 25 girls, little men and little women. The bishop was pleased, good-hearted. Pleased is usually a very, serviceable, generic translation of Flushtumtum. So he was pleased when he saw how they are doing well, Flush Mitleid, well living at the school. How good are their clothes, right? How nice their clothing was. How their faces were really good and really happy. When you're talking about faces or clothes or something being good, you usually are referring to appearance in jargon. You mean pretty or good looking, clean. This is typical jargon talk there. So yeah, how good their faces looked, how good their clothing looked, and so forth. And in the interest of pushing things further forward, how long is this? Sam, are you okay with this big paragraph?
Jaco Sunday, Mox Talam P Mox December, Okok Lisavek, Jaco Copa Sawash Ilahi, Yakatiki Nanich, Conway Sawash Tillicum, Midlight Copa Kamloops, Chaco Tlate Youth, Yakatum Pus Yakananich, Conway, Okok Tillicum, Midlight Copa Kamloops, Pus Mamuk Plush, Flaska Tum Pus Ha, Milalam P Iskam Lucalisti Copa Christmas. Work Conway Tillicum Plate Plush, Klaska Tum whose Klaska Nanich Oko Plush Lesavek. Hayak Klaska Chaco Copa Klaska Hayas Catechism House. Catechism House Hayak Pat Copa Tillicum. Yawa Klaska shake hands. Kanaway Kanamax Okok Lisabek. Who's Klaska shake hands. Klaska Shanti Okok Shanti Kopa Kapama Thompson Wawa.
Mhm.
So Chaco Sunday, 22nd December, and when it comes, on Sunday, December, Okok Lesavek, Chaco Kopa Sawash Ilahi. This bishop comes into the Indian land. Yakatiki Nanich Kanaway Sawash Tilakam Mitlite Kopa Kamloops. He wants to see all the Indian people who live in Kamloops, who are in Kamloops. Chaco Tlate Yot Yakatumtum he became very happy, his heart. Who's Yakananich Conaway Okotilicum Mitlite Kopa Kamloops. In order, that he saw all those people in Kamloops, who's Mamuk Klush Plaska Tumtum, to make happy or to make pleased their heart, who's Ha Milalam for
To do confession.
Okay. And Iskam Eucharistic Kopa Christmas, and take Eucharist at Christmas.
Communion.
Communion. Work Conway Tillicum Plate Klush Klaska Tum Tum. And also, all these people were really good. Their hearts were really good. Whose Klaska Nanachoko Klush Lesavek. In order to they see this good bishop. Hayat Klaska Chaco Kopa Klaska highest catechism house. Quickly they came to this good catechism house. Catechism house Hayat Padla Kopa Tillicum. The catechism house quickly became full of people. Yawa Klaska shake hands Kanaway Kanamax Okok Lesavek. There they shake hands all together with the priest, with the bishop. Whose Klaska shake hands, Klaska Shanti Okok Shanti Kopa Thompson Wawa. In order that they shake hands, they sing. When they shook hands, they sang the song in Thompson language.
Yeah, good. Thompson Salish, which is funny. That's not the language of the Kamloops Indians. They speak Shuswap, Sahwapmachchin. But it was just a well-known song of welcome to the bishop. A lot of tribes sang it in Thompson. So come Sunday, December 22nd, that bishop came to the Indian reservation. He wanted to see or visit all the Indian people who live at Kamloops. It became very glad, his heart, when he saw all those people who were at Kamloops in order to, improve their hearts, fix up their hearts, to make confession, and to take communion at Christmas. These Christmas gatherings were a very big deal. They were enormous in those times. Folks would come from very far around, a big event. Also, all of the people really good their hearts, so they were pleased when they saw this good bishop. Soon or quickly, they came to their big catechism house. That was a big gathering house on the Indian Reserve, and it was where folks also learned and taught Chinook Pipa. They had big popular classes in Chinook Pipa. The catechism house quickly filled up with people. Then they shook hands all with that bishop. When they were shaking hands, they sang this song in the Nhlakapmach or Thompson Salish language. Let me see, just really quickly, if you want, I'll say that in jargon. I don't think I did so. Chaco Sunday, 22 December, okokles avec Chaco Copa Sawash Ilahi, Yakatiki Nanich Kanui Sawash Telecom Mitlight Copa Kamloops. Chaco Blade Yud Yakatum Pus Yakananich Kanui Okok Telecom Mitlight Copa Kamloops. Bus Mabuk Klush Flaska Dum Bus Ha Milalam, Be Iskum Localisti Copa Christmas. Wach Kanui Telecom Blade Klush Flaska Dum Bus Flaska Nanich Okok Klush Lesevek. Ayak Tlaska Chaco Copa Tlaska Hayas Catechism House. Catechism House Ayak Pat Copa Telecom. Yawa Tlaska Shake Hands Kanui Kanamax Toko Klesevek. Plus Tlaska Shake Hands Tlaska Shanti Okok Shanti Copa Ntlakapmach Thompson Wawa. And it's about the top of the hour, I believe.
Well,
brief note here, I bolded the words in Thompson that are borrowed from Chinukwawa. And so they have less effect, they have lekalisti, corresponding to the localisti that we have for the for communion or the Eucharist.
well, thank you, Dave, so much for another wonderful Saturday morning. Or Saturday afternoon or evening for some folks. So,
presumably all Saturday. I'm not sure. Sorry, we didn't get to everybody. We had a lot of digressions, I guess. You know, lots of details to hash out.
Sam, anything from you before we go?
No, just happy. Thanks, everybody. Great Klush. Hayumasi, Tita.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Thank you all. See you all next Saturday. Stay safe.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Klahaya.
Okay.
Sunday, which is Saturday.